preservation and education. Touch me deep, deep through my flesh past my soul. Touch my core, but don't touch me where he hides my gold. No one but one has the key to those controls. A key he's kept sacred until he knows that you're worthy to appreciate the gift that he's kept sacred for so long. If only I could trust myself with those treasures, then I wouldn't be making decisions with no measures. I find myself constantly searching for the one he's made and created and molded from his image. But my search ends like a death to a small village. I've made some drastic and unnecessary decisions. Decisions on my own. Decisions I claim in the back of my mind after asking for a sign that must have been sent from heaven, because he knows my heart and how I tire of being alone. Allowing fools into the gates of my sea when they can't even afford the admission to even lay their eyes on me. Have I lost the strength that I was given from birth? The sound of my mother's voice echoes in my mind as if she's standing in my sight, and she knows my wrongs and she knows why I hurt. Hurting from the pain that I have inflicted on myself, even though she sat me down and explained how the world will keep me encaged in a wheel of deceit and filth. Reminiscing on how she would preach, filling my spirit with words from the book we all allow to sit on our shelves, collecting dust from Sunday to Sunday. She filled my spirit with knowledge in hopes when I became a young woman that I would recognize my worth from Sunday to someday. When the time arrived and I became the young woman she groomed, she disappeared as quickly as she came. The only piece of her that I was allowed to keep for myself was her last name. I roamed the earth in search of that love that I lost when she evaporated from the eyes like the tears I've cried. Her expiration date I thought came too soon, but soon was written before our lives could arrive. I transitioned slowly from a little girl to a young woman, forced to reside with a man I barely even knew. I knew he was the one that impregnated my mother, made me suffer, tore her down and disclaimed I was even his daughter. With her demise, he forced to face reality. My existence was no longer a conversation referring to how he wouldn't care for me. I became a constant reminder of this woman that he hated and despised and which had never entered his life. She ruined him in his mind, and his spirit was never right when she decided to give this child life. She was the enemy, and how dare she force him into being a father? Nonetheless, a man she had loved for years. He couldn't have things his way. I was coming regardless of how much he threatened, fussed, and called her a whore. 10 months and 36 hours of labor. I entered this world as her and not his little girl. His blood coiled in my veins. I resembled his mother's mother, the firstborn to his loins. Still he wouldn't and didn't give me his last name. The words escaped from his lungs with the power and force and depth of sarcasm and humor that rattled the interior lining of my soul, reminding me that I was only in his home because my bitch up and died and left me alone. Needless to say, his hatred continued to grow until he forced me into the streets, and homelessness would stunt my growth, almost crippling all of the years of dedication applied for education. Attaining a diploma? Even though he believes he had the strength to steal my graduation. Now that I'm grown and I have children of my own, he calls me love instead of calling me the daughter of the whore. He yearns to be a father and grandfather to my seeds that were created from his blood. But for me to share in his newfound love and to believe he is a different man is like asking for forgiveness with no trust. How can I trust a man that threw me out with the morning trash, with no regard on what could have been the end of me? How can I trust this man with the borrowed jewels of my life? His cuts go deeper than a blade me from a sort of a night. Now that he's up in age and he yearns for the love that I yearned for myself, the bitterness harbored within my soul no longer has a place to grow. It withers away with each season, each passing moment I'm living and breathing. I haven't forgotten, but forgiveness keeps me close. He will never admit that he was wrong. Apologies are not meant to touch the ears of my drums. I have forgiven all of the pain, the tears, and his attempts of turning my kindred spirit into a dark piece of coal. Now that he needs my love, I fill his cup with more than he can ever hold. I give him all that he needs, because through my faith, I've been loved all along.